Hi, Zizaran here with another video, and today we're going to talk about campaign skip. We're going to compare Path of Exile, Diablo 4, and Last Epoch primarily. Now, campaign skip, if you're not familiar with it, is can you skip the campaign? And the three games have various different approaches to that, with Path of Exile not really having one, sort of. So I wanted this is just going to be a thoughts video, me talking about how I feel about stuff like that, whether I think it's good for the game, good for what type of player, etc. So first, I want to talk about Diablo 4. In Diablo 4, you do the campaign one time ever, ever, and you never ever have to do it again. And because of the nature of the game, now you are free to do it again if you want to, and if you really like the campaign, it is very well done. I would say it's the best part of Diablo 4, and if you want to do it again, you're free to. But because of the nature of the game, it is sort of competitive. If you're going at a slower pace, going through the campaign, and everybody else is power leveling in dungeons from level 1, you're already inherently at a disadvantage. Even if you're not competing, a lot of ARPG players feel like this. This is quite common, and it's not everyone, but quite a lot of people, myself included, do. Even if I'm not competing, I don't want to be like 5 hours behind or 10 hours behind someone. So you sort of do feel forced in a way to skip the campaign. And for Diablo 4, this is a very odd one in my opinion. That's why I wanted to start with that, because there isn't much else to the game right now. Like, the game doesn't have like as much content as Last Epoch or Path of Exile or even Torchlight Infinite. It is a bit of a void in the endgame. That's why IGN's review was so funny to me, where they criticized the campaign for being bad and said it had a near perfect endgame. But that being said, I actually think it's a bad thing for Diablo 4. Now, I do think there is actually quite a lot of inherent value in being able to skip the campaign, or massively speed it up for future characters past your first one. However, after having tried all the different ones, Path of Exile, Last Epoch, and Diablo 4, I really think that it's a very nice distinction, a very nice set difference in doing the campaign at the start of a season. I think Diablo 4, just by having to do the campaign once for each character, so like that you have to do it one time per season and then you skip it, would be better. Now, I might be incredibly out of touch here because Diablo 4's player base is very, very different. It is a lot more casual. It is a lot less grindy than even Last Epoch, but also especially Path of Exile. So the more casual you are, the less you are going to want to deal with things like that, right? Like people that only have 30 minutes to play every day, or 4 hours a week or something, they might not want to waste time during the campaign. But I've talked about this quite a lot on stream, and a lot of people said like, yeah, doing it once makes sense. You get that like nice, sets it apart from the rest of the game, because with the current state of the game, it becomes very monotonous, right? You're already in the end game at level 10 and nothing really changes. You get some character changes, but you're already in the end game loop from the start. So that means that most people I've been talking to are getting anywhere like 10 to 50 hours out of a Diablo season because of that. Should you artificially increase that with the campaign? I don't know. I personally, after having played all of them, I do think having that season start is a really, really nice vibe. Seeing where in the campaign you are, and getting that different playstyle, and then you get to the end game and you're like, oh cool, now we're gonna do dungeons. I haven't really been doing that except for getting an aspect here and there. And then Path of Exile has none of this. From time to time, Path of Exile has had items that will make you go through the campaign faster. You do have things like 7 League Step. You've had Delve Gloves in the past. They were triple elemental damage gloves that didn't go to hit, didn't go to spell. It went to global damage, so it would even affect your heralds or things like Abarat's Hooves. And they were very popular to level with. And there's been loads of like fun leveling items like that, and they've been generally well received in Path of Exile. And the campaign is also quite short in Path of Exile for a speedrunner. Like, the Diablo 4 campaign is probably the longest, so for what I suggest of having it once per season, it probably is also the least suitable for that because it is so long. But Path of Exile's campaign, I think 1 hour 30 minutes is the speedrunning record, So that can be very short when you are very fast at it. I'm not saying that most people are doing that, obviously. For most people, it takes anywhere between 3 and 10 hours for regular players. And then the more casual you are, you get up to something like, if you are a professional game reviewer, it's closer to 72 hours, I believe was IGN's time during the campaign. That aside, obviously that can be like quite a chore for every single character. And then we have Last Epoch, which is in the middle ground. Actually, not even in a middle ground. Technically, in Last Epoch, you never ever have to finish the campaign. Not even the first time you're playing the game, which is really interesting. What you can do is you can actually do a campaign skip. As early as level 15, you will get access to something called the End of Time, which is the endgame monolith system, which is similar to dungeons from Diablo 4 and does have that whole like repetition thing. Now, obviously, it is more diverse than the dungeons, and there's, you have the blessings and the legendary potential chase, the item chase is more exciting, which breaks up the monotony of the game, but it actually does run into a lot of the same problems that Diablo 4 does, which is why a lot of people are excited about the next patch of Last Epoch bringing in Uber's like endgame content is what they promised. So that'll be very exciting to break up that monotony. But yeah, even from what I understand, the first time you play the game, you don't have to finish the campaign. You can level up in the End of Time monoliths from level 15 on softcore, generally on hardcore, I've been going anywhere from level 30 to 32 because you are still fighting level 58 enemies. They're very dangerous. And that obviously gets easier on your second and third character because you have some spare gear lying around that's just very powerful, as well as legendary items and things like that. So that's very cool. I think that's a very good approach for people that do want to like get through the campaign there. But you can then go back in the campaign through a dungeon skip, and you just have to complete the last act 9. You have to do 3 quests there for your idols and for your passives, and they're all conveniently located in act 9. I actually sort of misspoke a little bit in the video I made where I said you had to go back to act 8, but you can actually do it all in act 9 by going to the town to the left and the town to the right, and boom, you are ready. You've finished. You'll probably be like level 65, 70, because you over leveled quite a bit while doing this just so you can plow through everything. That's what I've been doing, just leveling to 70 and boom, done. Go back to the quests, get everything I need, kill Majasa, get the +1 skill points. I basically spent an hour or 2, maybe 3 if that, and I'm doing this quite slowly, I'm still learning. But yeah, you're spending an hour or 2 in the campaign, and then the rest you're in monoliths leveling up. You're having that fun endgame loop that a lot of people prefer in ARPGs instead, and that I think is an interesting solution. Personally, for a long time, I was very against even the very notion of skipping the campaign, and I've always preferred new characters should be exciting enough with things like legendary potential items. I think Last Epoch does the best job at that. That's what Diablo 4 does really badly, in my opinion. My favorite thing in an action role-playing game like this is when I'm playing a sorcerer or a barbarian, and I got this feeling in Diablo 2 a lot, and I find an item on one character that is super exciting for another character. I'm like, dude, this is so good for a barbarian. I'm a sorcerer right now, but this makes me want to play a barbarian. Diablo 4 has none of that. It has never ever happened. I only have like 500 hours in the game, but in that time, it has not happened once that I've found an item like, oh, I need to roll a druid. Because they've taken smart loot too far. Last Epoch does that the best, where you get that really, really strong like leveling items with the legendary potential system. If you don't know how it works, you basically get to take a unique, take a rare item, smash them in, and if you're doing that on a leveling unique, it does not go up in level but becomes super powerful. So now suddenly I have a new build which I'm one-shotting. It just feels ridiculous, and it doesn't matter because it's just the campaign that you're strong in, right? So it's completely great, and it just makes you feel like you're cheating. It gives you all that good vibe of what you really want to give an ARPG player. You want to make you feel like, I broke the game. I've completely busted the game. This is so broken. And, if this was an endgame build, you're like, wow, this is getting nerfed next season. But you get that great feeling while leveling. And that takes a lot of those pain points away from it and instead turns it really exciting. So I think Last Epoch's hit a really nice middle ground between the two here. I don't think Path of Exile needs a full level skip or campaign skip, but I think there are a lot of quality of life things you could do, like the waypoints being unlocked on every character past the first one. Honestly, I'm a lot less against letting people alternatively level and delve on a second character. I don't think I no longer think there's a massive reason to do the campaign on every single character. I think it's imperative for Path of Exile especially that you do have that breakup on the first character. I'd be very against like the campaign being a thing you do one time only in PoE. I don't think it suits the game at all. I don't know if other people feel the same, but I think honestly, League Start going through the campaign, so much fun. Like on every League Start, my first character going through the campaign, an absolute blast. I absolutely love it. Would never want to skip that. But I think they should work on making your 7th and 10th character, etc. Like there are people that make so many characters, and I don't think they have enough. But what I do think they should do is for people that are going to their like 7th and 2nd and 3rd whatever character, they should make it better for those, because I don't think Path of Exile does enough of that right now. I don't think making new characters level up, like maybe not even your 2nd, but like once you're getting some endgame things, letting your 3rd or 4th character level up really fast, I see that as an all-around win. It means that somebody has something they want to do on a new character, they're investing into it to level faster, they just want to play the game, they just want to try out new things. And I think that's an all-around good thing. Now, I do realize that there are problems with making things too easy in a game. Like, if you make, if you just start, let's throw in some hyperbole for good measure, right? If you started the season, you had a mage blood, you have everything you needed, you just import everything from Path of Building, right? Like, this is a very extreme example. I realize it's stupid, but like the point I'm trying to iterate, there is so much is too far, right? You can get and give too many things. There's probably one guy sitting like, that'd be great, I don't want to grind anything. Path of Exile for me feels the best when you have a clear goal that you're grinding towards and it feels achievable. Every season that has achieved that, whether that's being lastly, where it's just, you're getting so much stuff, you can have some really hefty goals, or other seasons, but just every season that achieves that, where I have a clear goal, I'm grinding towards it, this is what I'm working towards, and it feels achievable. That's always what makes the game feel good. Whenever it's like, well, the next step is X item, whether it's a Mage's Blood or whether it's a mirror-worthy item, and it just feels so far away, you're like very quickly losing interest, or you get that item and you're like, well, now there's nothing left for me. So it is a hard thing to balance, but I do think Path of Exile should move slightly towards looking at more like campaign options. Now, obviously, the PoE 2 campaign is going to address a lot of this, but I don't think you can make a good enough campaign where it doesn't feel like that. Because, yeah, I really like don't think what they want can be done. Because they've said if people still feel like they want a campaign skip after PoE 2, like we've failed, I just don't know if that's possible, that we won't feel like that, because these are games where you're doing this 100 times. Like, I don't even know how many times I've done the campaign. It must have been over 1,000, maybe somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000. I think right now I have 140 characters, and that's just from the past 2 or 3 leagues. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I definitely think Last Epoch has a very good middle ground. I think Diablo 4 went too far. Maybe it's good enough or okay for very casual players. I think Path of Exile can do a little bit more there where it comes to like skipping stuff. I just wanted to make a video about some thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts. Hopefully you guys enjoy the videos. Let me know if you want more like thoughts videos. If there's any other things you want my thoughts on. I do have a lot of thoughts. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoy it. Sub if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.